really how you build confidence is loving you the most.
Hey guys, it's Kirbie. Welcome back to Pretty Unfiltered. Today's guest is Keke.
Hey!
Just Keke.
Drop the Palmer. It's just Keke these days.
Today we're obviously going to be talking about your music.
Yes!
We got a lot of music conversation coming up. We're also going to be talking about feeling empowered to not be polished all the time, which I love your stance on this. And then also we have fan questions. So I want to dive right into no makeup, feeling empowered, not being polished. So you guys saw this. It was on your Snapchat or
it was
your
on my,
Instagram?
on my
One
Instagram
of
and
them.
Snapchat.
So you were talking about a friend that said, girl, I don't like it when you're a little natural because it just doesn't look polished. And you're like, okay, here's the thing.
I feel like we're in an era where everything is so perfected because we're in the big social media time. Like, it's very new for us still. So we're always posting the most perfect versions of ourselves, which is great. But at the same time, I feel like it's become excessive to the point where we are more so loving fake than we are loving real.
For real.
You know, if somebody is being real, it's like they're getting teased or bullied because of being their true selves.
And then when you see them in real life, you're like, oh wait, they are a normal person. They're not airbrushed to the gods.
Exactly.
They look normal and it's relatable, but then it's almost a bad thing. I feel like, especially celebrities like you, get criticized for that.
Yes, absolutely. And I think it's just because of the era. I think we've gotten just really hyped up on the idea of perfection being better than real, when the reality is real has always been better than fake. You know, of course, makeup is fun and beautiful and, you know, hair, wigs. I got one on now. But having said that, at the end of the day, the best thing is always what I look like, you know, naturally.
And you know what? I love your take on it too, because you're not hating on people that love makeup. You love makeup. You like to experiment. I look down your Instagram feed and you are playing with the looks.
You know I am, girl.
You love it, and I love that too. But also, it took me a really long time to be able to take off my makeup and come to work without makeup and say, I still feel great about myself. And I don't care if somebody notices I have melasma all over my face or an acne scar or whatever.
Very nice word, melasma.
Melasma.
Like that. Just give you guys a little...
I'm a little expert, don't worry.
But no, seriously, it took me a long time too, because growing up in the industry, it's a part of my career. It's part of your career too. Like, for us to always be perfect, and as a teenager and even sometimes as a young adult, I've always struggled with acne. So, you know, taking my makeup off and being free with that was a big hurdle that I had to climb over. Many people have acne and nobody's skin is always perfect, so why don't we love that?
On that note, I want to ask you, so growing up in music, growing up in TV and film, did anybody ever tell you that you needed to change your look?
Yes. I mean, I never got one of the, you know, the conversations that you hear people saying you need to get plastic surgery or something like that. But definitely, like, when it came down to hair, which I think is something that black women always have to deal with, even if they're not in the industry. You know, the idea that natural hair or braids and all these things aren't as good as, you know, a straight weave or straighter hair. So I definitely did go through a lot of that, you know, through the entertainment industry, because that's what they want. They don't want necessarily that natural look. But I've been able to embrace that more as I've gotten older, and I've been able to also change the norm myself. You know, by the grace of God and the time that I've, you know, put into the industry, I've really been able to show more so those images that I feel are true reflections to all the American girls, black, white, whatever, you know what I mean? Just really depicting the true reality of what we all look like, which is different.
Exactly. There's no standard for beauty, I think.
Right.
Well, there is,
but we're changing. No,
exactly.
we really are changing it. We really are. It's like, in the same breath where we're all trying to be so perfect, we also have the whole other side of our millennial generation that is doing the total opposite, which is bringing those different ideas of beauty to the forefront. People are now wearing locks, you know, and you know, in mainstream, which is so different than years before, where people would say, you know, that's not classy or that's not the look. I'm really happy about that.
What would you say to someone who is struggling with maybe their appearance and they don't have confidence? Because I know it's easier said than done, like, love yourself, right? Like, that's number one always. But do you have any actual advice that you could offer someone?
I have a lot to say on this topic, because I think for so long we believe that confidence is about outside validation, but confidence is really how you build confidence is loving you the most. That's really, and it's once you realize that, girl, it's a problem for me. Now my confidence is too damn high, okay? Because literally that's all that it comes down to, is you telling yourself in the morning when you wake up and you're not having all that makeup on and saying, girl, you're fine. Or when you're feeling bad about what somebody does to you, you go going to them and saying, I don't like what you did. Whether they apologize or they understand it or not, the fact that you stood up for how you felt, that's the kind of stuff that builds confidence. So we sometimes have it backwards when we're looking at, you know, the media and all these things that's telling us this is what makes you feel good. That's what makes you feel good. Really what builds your confidence is you thinking the best of you. You having your own back and you never letting anybody tell you who you need to be.
All right, let's talk about the entertainment industry and music. Okay, so we all know and love you from TV and film, but music has been the central and core of your passion.
Yeah, definitely was what introduced me to entertainment.
In general.
Yeah.
Exactly. But you have said in past interviews that you kind of turned your back on music. So can we talk about what happened there? I know it's an emotional topic for you, but I do want to discuss this because I think it really is a part of who you are. Yeah. And it's going to set the stage for where you're going.
Thank you. Well, definitely, you know, when you were asking the question about how people made you feel like you need to be someone else, like I definitely felt I didn't understand who I was as an artist, which, you know, we all go through that process when you're developing your sound and what you want to talk about.
You were 13, right? You were 13. That's really hard to know exactly who you are at 13, right?
Absolutely. So that's number one. Number one, I was still discovering what it was I wanted to even talk about. But then on top of that, I grew up in the church singing. So for me, music was something that was easy for me. Acting and how acting went so fast, it was not anything that I expected. So I was very chill about it all. I had no expectations.
Okay.
With music, because I always knew myself to be quote unquote good, I had many expectations of what my music career would be like, and I was very, very, very disappointed. I realized through the midst of it all that it wasn't about looking for other people to tell me that my music was good or having an album that hit, you know, the platinum 100s or having a song that was on Billboard. It was really about me completing my visions. Again, that's the confidence builder. That's what makes you feel good about yourself. Finishing it, starting and completing something, holding your vision and actually saying, you know what, I'm going to go all the way through with it, no matter if anybody believes in it or not. And that's what stopped me and really broke my heart as a kid, is because I kept expecting other people to believe in me the way that I believed in myself.
I preach this. I preach
really
this. You cannot expect everybody else to be your cheerleader and clapping you on. You have to believe in yourself first and foremost. I've been through the exact same thing, and it's really hard. I kind of cried to my boyfriend about this a couple weeks ago because I was like, nobody believes in me as much as I do. And he's like, what are you talking about, first of all? But second of all, that's
how
good.
it should be.
That's good.
Exactly.
That's a good boyfriend.
Yeah, but I'm about to say, by the way, that boyfriend is everything, honey.
Hey!
Hey, what's up, Pat?
Seal of approval from Keke. I love that.
No, but seriously, that's literally what happened to me. But then I realized in the same breath that this had to happen. So I could be able, this is my story.
Exactly.
So it's like, even though I was sad when I was younger, I realized like, girl, you had to go through that process because now I have a ton of stuff to say, and that's what my music is about.
Is there a moment from your past that you think has made you a stronger person outside of this whole learning lesson with music?
It's hard to pinpoint one specific thing. You know, if I look at the totality of my life, I definitely can pinpoint specific moments where I was like, I jumped over hurdles. And I think maybe the main thing that I feel like I overcame was like my anxiety.
Yeah.
The people that I look up to and admire, it's not anything physically different between them and me. It's just the way that they think. When I was able to realize that it was a mindset thing, that mental constructs and breaking them down and habits and all these things were able to be rearranged, and you could literally rebuild the way that you thought to be the type of person that you wanted to be and achieve the type of goals you want to achieve, that's when my life changed.
Yeah.
Because I realized that it really was all the way that I was thinking. Sometimes you will close doors to yourself that you didn't even know were always open. You literally put the door and the knob and the handle and the key on them when they never were there. And once I realized that, I was like, the sky really is the limit. Like, it really is the limit. But, you know, not to go biblical, but it's like, you know, as I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for thou my, you know, I mean, you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
That is the mind. That is the valley of the shadow of death. The thoughts that people, the things that people say to you that regurgitate in your mind, the things you see on who you look like. You know, that is a big thing. You watch TV show and you see a blonde and they're supposed to be stupid. Am I stupid?
Yeah, exactly.
Or if you see a black person and they're belligerent, am I supposed to be belligerent? Those are the things that aren't, that isn't you. Your mind is like a computer, and it's just playing back in itself what it's already seen. That's why you have to follow your heart. Your heart, it may not know how things are going to happen, but it feels it. So if you follow that, that's where you'll end up where it is. You'll be able to really manifest what it is your dreams are, because your mind doesn't know because it hasn't seen them yet. You're the one that's supposed to deliver it to the world.
Let's actually touch on the anxiety for a second.
Yes.
You talked to the Child Mind Institute about when you were 15, you realized you did have anxiety and depression, or just anxiety?
Yeah, I think it was, and I think both of them would go hand in hand. It can trigger one or the other.
Exactly.
And it happens, I feel like it happens in spurts. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it was so hard for me to detect as a kid, because it was like, am I depressed or am I lazy? A lot of times it will feel like that, especially growing up in poverty. You know, you'll see, and it's like, she's just lazy as hell. But no, she's been in the bed for like a whole week. I think it's a little bit more than just lazy.
Exactly.
So a lot of times I was unable to really detect the times when it was really happening. And I worked a lot. So it was easy for me to be like, oh, maybe I'm exhausted or I'm tired. But really it was because I was feeling down and I wasn't expressing myself. I had a real issue of being a people pleaser. And I was not able to build my confidence and my self-assuredness because I wasn't standing up for what I didn't like and what didn't feel right. I was allowing myself to stay in situations that oppressed me.
So then what did you do once you realized this, when you said, okay, I have anxiety and depression? How did you move forward? Because a lot of kids are probably not going and telling people this or getting help. They're maybe embarrassed or ashamed because there is a stigma still, which needs to be broken.
Yes.
So what did you end up doing?
I went through that horrible time and was writing in my journals from the time like when I really, like 14, 15, up till I was 17. And at 17, I was like, I cannot allow myself to die like this. And what I meant is like die inside. Like I literally felt my true self falling so deep that I'm just like, I won't be able to catch her if I don't stop this. So I wrote my parents a letter and I was like, I need to go to therapy. Like there's this like really ridiculous, like I have to talk to somebody outside of my situation that can really play, because that's what a therapist should do. A good therapist will not give you answers or judge you or really put emotion or anything, you know, like that into it. They'll just play your words back at you and you're able to kind of see them in a more objective sense. And I just knew that I was too emotionally involved and I needed to be more objective about what was going on and get outside of my head. I still have a therapist to this day, and I realized what it is you're saying, which is that it's not this, you having a therapist isn't you're crazy. It's actually you're brilliant, because you're making sure that you don't get to the point of being crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like you go to the doctors and get a PE checkup, that's what therapists should really be like. I mean, honestly,
an internal checkup.
It's an internal checkup, because the reality is life is hard. We're humans, but we don't really know why we're here. We're just all moving around, and what's up with the fake money? Like, like we really don't know what's going on, really, and that's hard and that's difficult. And I don't think that we should keep on acting like it's not.
Let's talk about music inspiration, because I feel like for me, my inspiration's Oprah.
Oh, girl, Oprah's everything. I feel like if she's not your inspiration, what are you doing?
So she like totally changed the game. She's my number one.
Yes.
Who's your number one?
My number one inspiration will have to be my mom. Just because y'all, for real, she is too legit to quit dab. Like, literally, I cannot deal with her. Just thinking about the way that her faith, you know, in her family, and her faith in just, like, imagine. My mom, growing up in poverty, had all these hopes and these dreams and these ideas of what life could be. You know, imagine like Dorothy that didn't get to go to Oz. And, you know, after experiencing life and, okay, getting married and having kids and like, you know, okay, this is what it's going to be. She looked to her daughter and she said, if it's out there and she really wants to go and find it, I still deep down believe that that world that I imagined when I was a kid was true. So I'm going to help her find that world.
That's amazing.
That's just amazing, too much Mom. To bear. And then it actually went through, and like for her, my mom always used to say to me, you saved my life. And I was just, you know, you're being dramatic. Like,
like Mom,
yeah, exactly. But then as I've gotten older and I realized how that must have felt for her to know something was true and to invest it in her seed and for it to actually grow into fruition, like that let her know that everything she always dreamed way back then was true.
I know, that's amazing.
I'm just like I'm so glad we did it, Mom. And then as far as like, if I'm thinking of someone like in the industry, it's like probably will be, I mean, we already said Oprah, but I'm definitely like Will Smith and Queen Latifah, because they did so many different things. And I'll add Childish Gambino to it as well. And then later, he's a huge inspiration to me.
Fan cues. What music are you listening to these days? Well,
I'm definitely listening to I Just Wanna Rolly, Rolly, Rolly. And I'm listening to Mike Will Made It's Ransom 2.
Yeah.
I really am loving that. Also listen to Migos. I really love what they've been doing lately. And then Drake. I got Drake's album. I like my Passion Fruit, Teenage Fever. Those are my favorite. Good and then ones. I love Love off of Kendrick's new album.
Yep.
So as you can see, I'm definitely
Kendrick's album is
Isn't it legit to quit?
It's good. It's real good. Okay, celebrity crush.
Celebrity crush.
Because you're single, right?
I'm single.
You're single, ready to mingle?
I'm ready to mingle.
Oh, wait. Oh, you were after my own heart because
Cole Sprouse, baby.
Oh wait, I love Cole Sprouse.
Yeah.
But I was gonna bring up that you tweeted a Shania Twain lyric. You're like, I'm gonna get you good. I'm like, yes,
girl,
Keke.
because I was thinking about this guy that I'm about to get. I'm not playing with him. Literally, I was singing that song, smiling from ear to ear, like I got him. I'm gonna get you. It's a matter of time.
That's literally what she tweeted, and I was like, oh my God, this girl is after my own heart.
Shania Twain is everything.
Hold on, Cole Sprouse, yes.
So freaking cute. Loved him since we were kids, but I never told him. It was very like color of friendship. I don't know why I was acting like it was the 1940s. I'm like,
it's like we're friends.
We can't be.
I mean, I'm actually super proud of him too because like,
honey,
he went off to college. He did his thing. He could have just like gone into obscurity. He's like,
he got finer and finer and finer and funnier and funnier. He over here looking like Leonardo DiCaprio. I know.
Keke, you are so much fun.
Oh my gosh,
you know that,
girl. No, you know that.
You know that. Okay, listen. I'm so glad you came on the show. I remember watching you back in like 2005 and being like, I know this girl. Like, you just been around for so long. You have longevity. You're gonna make it in anything you want to do. You could be a rocket scientist. Guys, comment section. Favorite part of this interview? I obviously think it's the whole thing, but tell me your favorite part. Who do you want to see on upcoming episodes? You guys actually were tweeting me about Keke. She is here. So we make dreams come true here at Pretty Unfiltered. So let me know. Who do you want on the show? We'll try to get him on. And as always, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Kirbie Johnson. Adios, guys. Mwah.